Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
And grab that coat again this morning. Temperatures will feel very much like they did this time yesterday, but I'll show you why we can see a nice little warm up this afternoon.
Neighborhood safety. Raleigh police are sharing ways people can protect their homes after the murder of Zoe Welsh. The concerns RPD is addressing for people who live nearby.
Federal cuts. We're expecting to learn more today about how the communities all across our state are dealing with changes to SNAP and Medicaid. Welcome into your Tuesday. We're so glad you're with us. Always appreciate your time. I'm Ken Smith in for Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Renee Chu. It is going to be a beautiful Tuesday. Lots of sunshine. Another cold start. Let's get to meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with where our temperatures are.
Pretty start here in Pittsburgh. Skies are clear. Temperatures are chilly. It feels like January is supposed to feel. 32 is our normal low, and that's where we are right now. Winds are calm. We take a look at the wind chill. There is a bit of a wind chill in a few places. It's not anything that's going to be terribly dramatic, except there in Fayetteville. It feels like 21, and the temperature is 27. It feels like 25 in Southern Pines, and it feels like 28 in South Hill. It feels like 24 around Rocky Mount and Wilson. So it's a cold start, very similar to what we saw yesterday. But our winds this afternoon will be coming out of the south, and that will warm us up somewhat. We're not going to get into the 70s like we saw Saturday, but we are looking at a high around 60 degrees. That'll be the warmest that we see for the next 7 days. Here's one of the reasons why. This front will come through. It'll bring us only a small chance for rain, but it will drop our temperatures significantly into Thursday and Friday. I'll show you coming up. Chris?
Despite the fact that it's so cold this morning, Elizabeth, the frost on the windshield probably limited just because of how dry it is out there. No major slowdowns for the time being, so some good news there as we give you a live look at one of the spots that tends to get busy within the next hour or so. That's I-87 at Lizard Lick Road, and thankfully everything is flowing smoothly in both those north and southbound lanes. As you look at drive times into downtown Raleigh, hey, nothing to worry about, nothing that's making you late. One of the benefits of being up this early in the morning. But should those delay times change, we'll let you know while you're in the car on 101.5 HD3.
Chris, thanks. We're trying to learn new information about two crashes that happened overnight in Raleigh. This is video from the scene on Falls of Noose Road near Litchford Road around 2:30 this morning. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker spotted an SUV and pickup truck with damage. The WRAL Breaking News Tracker also on the scene of a crash near Capitol Boulevard and Thornton Road. This actually happened last night around 11 o'clock. You can see a pickup truck and a car that are heavily damaged. We've reached out to Raleigh Police for more information about both crashes.
People in one Raleigh neighborhood are raising concerns about their safety after teacher Zoe Welsh was murdered. WRAL's Ali Calabar is outside RPD's Southwest District headquarters this morning. And Ali, police met with people in the 5 Points area neighborhood to address their concerns.
And Renee, these people live just down the road from where Zoe Welsh was killed. And that's why in that meeting, we saw people ask police what they were doing to make sure that something like this doesn't happen again. Now, we counted at least 40 people in that virtual gathering asking Captain J.R. Manson at least a dozen questions about safety and protection. He shared guidance on how to prevent your home from becoming a target and what to do if someone breaks in. The meeting comes just over a week after the murder of Zoe Welsh, a longtime science teacher at Ravenscroft School. Police say Ryan Camacho is accused of breaking into her home on Clay Street and killing her January 3rd. Manson says officers are doing regular patrols in that area.
We want you to feel safe in your homes and know that we are doing regular security checks over there around the park. We're trying to work in that area as best we can.
Now, on the right of your screen, you're going to be seeing a list. These are other concerns that people brought up in terms of the homeless encampments, bus stops, and lighting in that area. Manson says that anyone with concerns should contact him or the police department. And if you see something concerning, contact them as well. We have a full list of all of the advice given in that meeting on WRAL.com. Reporting live in Raleigh, Ali Kadlabar, WRAL News.
Now, a week after Zoe Welch's murder, we have questions about how the Durham District Attorney's Office handled cases involving Ryan Camacho. We took those questions to Police Chief Patrice Andrews. Camacho had 4 felonies downgraded to a misdemeanor by District Attorney Satana DeBerry. She responded to WRAL saying the evidence in Mr. Camacho's cases did not support felony convictions. Prosecutors can only deal with the facts before them.
Your department is responsible for presenting those facts before them. How does that reflect on the work of your department?
We always include the district attorney's office in on the conversations around the facts, the evidence, oftentimes before even charging.
Chief Patrice Andrews tells us her officers prepare complete cases. Part of that includes working with the DA's office to make sure the right charges are filed.
Jury selection begins today in the trial of Isaiah Ross. He's accused of murdering 2 teenagers in Orange County. Ross is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of Lyric Woods and Devin Clark. The teens were found dead on a remote ATV path in September of 2022. Prosecutors offered Ross a deal to plead guilty to second-degree murder, which he rejected. Prosecutors told the judge they plan to call the victims' parents in to testify. Jury selection starts at 9:30. Happening today, the Raleigh Convention Center is hosting its first event since a fire there last month. Yesterday, we got our first look at a temporary kitchen that will provide food for upcoming events. This mobile kitchen is at Red Hat Amphitheater. The Convention Center roof and the air conditioning there still need to be fixed as well.
Today, we'll get new information about how federal cuts to Medicaid and SNAP benefits will affect people here in North Carolina. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey live outside the state legislative building this morning. Kelsey, so many people in our state rely on these programs every day.
Yes, Ken, and today we're going to be able to get a deeper understanding of how these federal funding cuts could impact you and your family. Conversations that are happening here inside the legislative building today will shed a new light on Medicaid and SNAP benefit cuts. More than 3 million North Carolinians are on Medicaid and 1.4 million receive SNAP benefits. President Donald Trump signed a sweeping tax and spending bill last year that cuts funding to both programs. His plan cut 20% of funds for food stamps. That's the largest cut to SNAP benefits ever. This all according to analysis by the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. Trump's plan also slashes Medicaid by $1.2 trillion. County and state officials will be giving presentations today to state lawmakers to talk about how they're going to be adapting to all of these new changes. Our NC Capitol team will be there following all of these hearings today. You can check out updates on WRAL.com. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Kelsey, thank you. New developments in the story surrounding the former Carytown manager. We are now hearing from State Auditor Dave Bolick, who says he may have found possible criminal activity. WRAL has done more than a dozen stories on the questions surrounding Sean Stiegel and his spending while serving as Carytown manager. He was placed on leave in November and resigned a month later. The state auditor tells WRAL his investigation uncovered several transactions on a company card that could indicate fraud. Bolick says his office is now working with the SBI and the DA.
The key to finding and getting to the bottom of any misappropriation is a long-term pattern of spending and the exact items, for example, or services that are purchased with public dollars, and whether those items and services are purchased with a legitimate need of the town.
Bolick wasn't able to share a timeline on when we would learn more. We've reached out to Sean Stiegel multiple times since yesterday. We have not heard back. Cary Mayor Harold Weinbrecht responded to the news from the state auditor's office, saying in part, the state auditor has raised concerns about potential legal violations by Sean Stiegel that we take very seriously. Once presented to us, we will review the auditor's findings carefully and will partner fully with any additional investigations.
Today, the U.S. Supreme Court will hear two cases that could shape the legal landscape for the rights of transgender people. The cases from Idaho and West Virginia center around banning transgender athletes in girls' and women's sports. Both cases are about whether the bans violate the Equal Protection Clause of the 14th Amendment. So far, nearly 30 states have laws that ban trans students from participating in sports consistent with their gender identity.
And happening now here in the WRAL Live Center, we are just a few hours away from a key inflation report, the final report of 2025 being released. So we want to take a look here at some of the U.S. futures. You can see here a lot of red on the board ahead of that key report being released. The S&P 500 and the Dow Jones declining 0.2% this morning. Now, this inflation report most likely continue rising in December, according to an analyst, and what could be the latest sign of the affordability crisis that consumers have been describing in recent months. They're expecting prices rose 2.6% in December compared with a year earlier. So, of course, we're going to break down that latest data as soon as it's released at 8:30 this morning.
All right, we're coming up on 6:10 right now. Federal lawsuit. Minnesota officials are trying to put a stop to immigration enforcement operations all across that state, while they say ICE's actions won't be tolerated.
Park closure. Improvements are on the way for Raleigh's Pullen Park. How the timeline could affect your future visits.
Our temperatures heading out the door this morning are cold again, upper 20s to around 30 degrees. But this afternoon could be significantly warmer than yesterday. I'll show you why this could be the only day this week we'll see 60s.
And take a look at your screen. We've got your winning Powerball numbers right there. 5, 27, 45, 56, 59. The Powerball is 4, the multiplier 2.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13. It's a cold start out there this morning, but skies are clear, much like yesterday. So we have the top of the tower lit in blue for the clear skies, but we have 20s out there in a lot of places. 27 in Fayetteville, 27 in Roxborough, 29 Cary, 28 in Rocky Mount and Wilson. Below freezing for Garner and Goldsboro, and right at freezing in Durham. There's been just a little bit of wind chill, not much. So a lot of folks are feeling, like the upper 20s when you head out the door. At the bus stop this morning, you'll see kids in their coats, hopefully. But this afternoon, 60 degrees. I know it's not as warm as what we saw over the weekend, Saturday in particular, but it'll be the warmest day that we see for the next several days. We've got a couple of blasts of colder air that are on their way. I'll show you when you may need to really bundle up coming up. Chris?
And so far this morning, things are fairly calm, not just in the weather world, but in the traffic center as well. It's I-40 at Airport Boulevard, and so far everything has flown pretty smoothly in all directions there. If you plan on heading to the airport, again, it's not just I-40, but I-540, Glenwood Avenue, everything is green on the map. That's what we like to see, especially as we broaden out the picture and you see no major weather concerns across the country, no major delays, and especially with that cold air that's coming in later this week, you might want to book a flight down south.
For sure. Thank you for the update. Federal immigration enforcement is making its presence felt across the state of Minnesota. Activity now being reported at Target stores and in their parking lots. This newly released video from Richfield was captured by bystanders just a day after a woman was shot and killed by ICE agents in Minneapolis. Now, a Minnesota state lawmaker says 2 employees were detained by Border Patrol. Both are said to be U.S. citizens, and they have since been released. Target has declined to comment. Homeland Security says Border Patrol arrested a U.S. citizen for assault, but have not clarified which individual was arrested.
Overnight, the state of Minnesota and the Twin Cities of Minneapolis-St. Paul suing the Trump administration over that immigration crackdown. The new lawsuit argues the operations in Minnesota are a federal invasion. It says the crackdown also violates the 10th Amendment by unlawfully commandeering state resources. Here's Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry.
What we are seeing right now is not normal immigration enforcement. We are not asking ICE not to do ICE things. We are asking this federal government to stop the unconstitutional conduct that is invading our streets each and every day.
Minnesota officials are seeking a court order to halt the crackdown. The Assistant Secretary for Homeland Security has called the lawsuit baseless and says the agency plans to fight it in court.
A major political fight is brewing over the independence of the Federal Reserve. The Department of Justice has served subpoenas to Fed Chair Jerome Powell and threatened criminal charges tied to his testimony about the central bank's building renovation. Prosecutors allege Powell lied to Congress about the cost of those renovations. The price tag on the renovations is about $2.5 billion. It's a move Powell calls a pretext to pressure the Fed on interest rates. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are concerned over these recent developments.
This is a really dangerous thing for President Trump to use his Department of Justice to weaponize our system of justice to try and coerce a Fed chair into following his preferences for interest rates. This is really foolish and dangerous.
Did you think the White House is trying to stop the independence of the Fed?
Somebody at DOJ. I mean, the president said he wasn't in the mix. Another example of amateur hour, as far as I'm concerned.
That was Republican Senator Tom Tillis of North Carolina. He also says he will oppose confirming any nominee, including the next Fed chair, until the matter is resolved. Critics worry the escalation could inject political interference into U.S. monetary policy.
A discount airliner is scaling back its operations at RD International, leading to dozens of job cuts. Avello Airlines restructuring its network and will close its base at RD International. The company is making the same change at the Wilmington International Airport. Avello says if you are a customer, you should expect changes to your schedule. The airline will contact you directly.
Looking ahead, Pullen Park in Raleigh will temporarily close for improvements next month. Major work on the Main Lakes shoreline will begin on February 2nd. And all attractions, amenities, playgrounds, picnic shelters, those will be closed through March 31st. The Pullen Aquatic Center, Community Center, and tennis courts will stay open.
Well, we're here in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. And cold this morning, but this is the peak day of the week, and I'll probably be on the playground later.
It's a great day to do it because after this, you're really going to have to bundle the kids up a whole lot more. We see high pressure that's sliding eastward out into the Atlantic. Remember, high pressure systems have winds that rotate clockwise around them. So the position of the high really has a whole lot to do with the way it feels out. If we're on the east side of the high, we're seeing winds coming out of the north. And if we're on the west side of that high, we see a southerly flow. And that's what will warm up our temperatures about 10 degrees over what we saw yesterday. But our next front comes through and delivers a round of chilly air for us on Thursday and Friday. We will have the potential for some light patchy rain, and then it becomes windy and cold after the front moves through. Here's tomorrow. We're going to start off with clear skies. It's not going to be an issue really for the morning or the evening commute. There's lunchtime, and then during the afternoon and evening, we're fairly dry. But closer to midnight, we have the potential for some light patchy rain. Notice it's all green here. We won't see the cold air catching up to this and turning it over to snow. Maybe a flurry or two, but most of us will be asleep and we will have no accumulation. The amount of precipitation that we're going to see is just so light. We'll see clearing skies on Thursday and temperatures will be falling through the day. Remember Sunday how it was warmer in the morning and then it really cooled off and it got really windy? That's the way it'll feel on Thursday as well. We're still looking at less than 1/10 of an inch of rain for our front on Wednesday night and Saturday night combined. So again, we're in desperate need of rain. We're not going to see it. 20% chance late Wednesday, early Thursday, and then again 20% late on Saturday. You remember July and August, it was really wet. We had almost 15 inches of rain those 2 months combined when our normal is about 9.5. But since September 1st, we've only had 7 inches of rain and we should have seen around 15. So we are way behind with rainfall. And the mountains may actually see a little bit of snow. Boone around 1 inch, Snowshoe almost 4 inches, and then some variable amounts, especially over around the Great Lakes. If you're hoping for some snow, we still have lots of winter left. Mid-January on, we still have about a 68% chance of seeing some snow. It'll be cold enough for it. Look at that, 32 Thursday morning, but 20 Friday morning, 32 on Saturday morning, and some really chilly temperatures in our forecast, especially during the morning. Thursday is not going to be a comfortable day to be outside.
No. Yeah, that wind is really going to cut right through you, whereas this morning, thankfully, the wind is calm and the roads are calm, at least least for the time being. Knock on wood, right? I-87, a live look there at Lizard Lick Road, and everything flowing smoothly in both the north and the southbound lanes. So whether you're heading into Raleigh or maybe heading farther into East Wake County, just a 1-minute delay coming in from Wake Forest. That's not going to make you late, but as we get closer to the 7 o'clock hour, you tend to see some delay times. We'll keep you posted on those over on Fox 50 at 7 a.m. and all throughout the morning on 101.5 HD3.
Chris, thank you. Chemical concerns. Non-stick pans can sometimes pose a hazard in the kitchen. 5 on Your Side has the safest cookware options.
And the need for a remodel. We're getting a look inside the Wake County Animal Center ahead of its makeover, how the shelter is preparing for changes during the renovations.
Remember, if you see breaking news, have a story tip, or take video or pictures of the weather where you are, please report it to us. Go to WRAL.com/report it to send your video, pictures, or tip to our news team.
The Wake County Animal Shelter will close for about a month and a half to make much-needed repairs. WRAL went inside the animal shelter and found cracked walls and floors and chipped paint. WRAL investigates findings come as county leaders are talking about a new building for the shelter. Staff members tell WRAL they hope the repairs will hold up until a new facility is ready.
The repairs they need to be done. We can't push it back any longer. It's going to be a big undertaking, and there was just no way to do it without closing.
Frost says private boarding facilities and nonprofits have stepped up to help house some of the animals temporarily. Now keep in mind, foster pets will still be available for adoption.
This What's Trending report is sponsored by Call Dad AC and Heating.
The opening ceremony for the Winter Games is getting closer, and another big milestone for Taylor Swift.
Incredible. Let's take a look at what's trending.
So a new record for Taylor Swift. Her song, The Fate of Ophelia, has topped the Billboard Hot 100 for 10 weeks straight, which is a first. Out of her 13 career #1 hits, she has never had a song at the top of the charts for that long of a stretch until now.
I'm surprised she's still racking up firsts because she's been so successful. But this latest one, it's from her latest album, Life of a Showgirl, which is still #1 on the Billboard chart, going on, 13 weeks since it dropped.
Her lucky number.
Absolutely. Well, opera singer Andrea Bocelli will be part of the opening ceremony for the Winter Games in Milan Cortina. He will be part of a headlining group of performers, including Mariah Carey. This is not the first time he's been performing for the Olympics. On Instagram, the Olympics page sharing this video of him performing at the closing ceremony for the Turin Games back in 2006.
Yeah, that opening ceremony, February 6th, and you can catch Bocelli at the Lenovo Center. He'll be performing there February 20th. Tickets are still available.
I know a lot of people are getting their tickets already.
6:26 now, neighborhood safety. Raleigh police are sharing ways people can protect their homes and their families after the murder of Zoe Welsh. The response from the department to their concerns.
Also, federal cuts. We're expecting to learn more today about how the communities all across our state are dealing with changes to SNAP and Medicaid.
And no change to our temperature this morning. It's cold at the bus stop with temperatures near freezing. But this afternoon should feel a bit warmer. We'll climb up to 60. I'll show you when we have more cold air coming our way, though, in just a few minutes.